Shika, I am here.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi, Shika. Hello, Shika. Hi. Hi, Shika.
Am
Yeah,
I
I'm
audible?
on. Yeah, no problem. So at the end, can you just send me this video, Shika? Can you hear me? Shika, you freezed. Shika, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Shika?
To manage the way.
Shika, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible. Yes.
Hello there, Devyani ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hi.
I'm just joining in a second. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Has started screen sharing. teacher enter the waiting room. Close. Admit. You. Press CMD plus U to manage the waiting room. Rashmi to teacher enter the waiting room. Close. Admit. You. Press CMD plus U to manage the waiting room. Seema Dubey has joined the meeting.
There is something. Why are we hearing some voice?
Gadev. Bell
Hello,
CA has
Dr.
joined the meeting.
There is some voice which is disturbing. Can you mute everyone except the hosts, please? I can hear some sound. Now it's fine. Hello, Dr. Prashant. How are you?
Yeah, fine, Devyani ma'am. Nice to see you, ma'am.
Same here, same here. Nice to see you after a long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I
Great,
think
great.
few months, I think 3, 2, but you were not there in the last talk, I think. I came for that IoT thing. Perhaps
Yes.
you were not there that day. Yeah, yeah.
I was probably, there is so much of travel that I probably would have, but before that I was there. I
Yeah, correct.
kind of make it a point because I'm sure, such a team resource person like you coming in, it's always so educative for all of us, and especially, technology, STEM, that's something people who are a non-STEM background, we all need to educate ourselves. And thank you so much for, taking this time out, Dr. Prashant. Give me a heads up when we start this.
Okay, ma'am, let me just begin with the instruction, then you can continue. A very good evening to one and all. My name is Shikha Pandey, and I am the host for today's session. I'm delighted to welcome you all to a new episode of STEM Masterclass on the topic of cloud computing. Before we begin with the session, I would like to deliver few important instructions. We recommend that you attend the session through a laptop rather than a mobile or tablet for better experience. Keep a notepad handy so that you can write down all important points. Feel free to post questions on the chat box, which will be addressed during the last 15 minutes of the session. To gain maximum from the session, give your undivided attention and avoid all external distractions. Now, fortunately, today we are having with us our founder, Ms. Devyani Kapoor. Now, I would hand over mic to ma'am so that she can continue.
Thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you so much, Shikha, for so beautifully putting in the instructions as to how the participants need to take the session and be part of it and be completely aware in the entire session. Good evening and hello, everyone. As Shikha has already introduced, I'm Devyani Kapoor, and I would like to steal 5 minutes of this, masterclass on cloud computing. Cloud computing is a new approach where on this masterclass, we'll explore the transformative world of digital innovation. Cloud computing, to my mind, is the backbone of modern technology, revolutionizing how business and individuals harness the power of internet to access, store, and process data. Today, we'll dive deep into its core concepts, from infrastructure as services that empowers you to build your virtual environment. But before this, I'm so tempted to keep up the tradition of posting in a question in the chat box, which is, cloud computing is an all or nothing approach. Business must migrate all their operations. Shikha, can you take it up? I don't know.
Sure, ma'am, sure. So before we begin with the session, I have a question for all the participants and I would request please answer in the chat box. And the question is, cloud computing is an all or nothing approach. Businesses must migrate all their operations to the cloud or not at all. Please type A if you are agree and type D if you are disagree. I repeat the question. Cloud computing is an all or nothing approach. Businesses must migrate all their operations to the cloud or not at all. Please type A if you agree with the statement and type D if you disagree. Ma'am, if you are fine, so
Yes,
you can.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anindita says, yeah, A. Dr. Shruti says A. But I could also see somebody saying D. Akhilesh Mishra says D. Vandana Khanna says A. Most of them agree. But how it operates and how it scales up our operations, our businesses, how it adds on to our whole environment, nobody else is better to throw light on than our esteemed resource person of today. And I'm extremely, extremely happy to introduce Dr. Prashant Nair. Dr. Nair is working as the Vice Chairman at IQAC of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham University, Coimbatore. He has over 2 decades of teaching, research, mentoring, training, consultancy, and academic administration experience. He taught in academic programs in USA, Europe at University of California, San Diego, Sofia University, Bulgaria, and University of Toronto, Italy Trento, Italy. Am I right, Dr. Prashant? Italy.
Yeah, Trento. It's Trento, actually.
Trento, Italy, as an Erasmus Fellow. Welcome, Dr. Prashant. I'm excited to be part of this session and understand how I could upscale and how cloud computing would be an asset to my work environment. And I'm sure our participants are waiting eagerly for this extremely, extremely insightful session. Before you begin, Dr. Prashant, there's one small information that I would like to share with our participants. Dear attendees, you are very, very fortunate that from 1st September, we are starting with modules on STEM at NEP. So these master classes will be part of 4 modules. We will take up one topic which will trail or train during 3 master classes. You will have 1 resource person or 2 resource persons who will come and educate you on that one topic, which will spread over 3 master classes. You must attend 2 master classes out of 3 to be eligible to get the course certificate. After that, after you've attended at least 2 master classes out of 3, though we recommend to attend all 3, then you will undergo an online session, one session where you will be going through the material, you will be undertaking a test, post which you will get a certificate of that course completion. So this masterclass will no more remain a masterclass from 1st September. It will be a full-fledged program in that one particular topic of STEM. With this, I hand over the stage to our esteemed resource person, Dr. P. Nair. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Devyani ma'am. To a very warm welcome to all the participants for this masterclass STEM at NEP series. We are very happy to collaborate with EduDevs for our various initiatives. And I think this is perhaps the 4th or 5th time I'm addressing on different topics. It's very exciting to address, school faculties, school students also, in addition to our university thing. So I'll just share my slides. Just give me a minute. Is my slide visible? I hope my slide is visible.
Yes, Dr. Nair, yes.
Yeah. So what you see on the picture is a photograph of our university headquarters in Coimbatore. It's a very beautiful, eco-friendly campus. In fact, ranked as the greenest and the cleanest campus in India by the Ministry of Education. This is the picture of the campus, the frontage of the campus. So today I'm going to give you try to demystify what is this cloud concept, the concept of cloud computing. As Devyani ma'am was mentioning, today cloud computing has become a very important component of technology today in terms of the impact. So we are living in a digital age. The COVID pandemic has accelerated a digital transformation. And what we are seeing is that we are seeing a total digital transformation in all the aspects of human life, not only education, manufacturing, logistics, healthcare. We are seeing a digital transformation across the board. And this trend is not going to be bucked. It is just going to be increasing. It's going to intensify and become more and more widespread, so as to speak. There will be no place where every aspect of human life is going to be impacted by this thing. And cloud is one of those very important enabling technologies. Cloud is one of those important enabling technologies for that. Cloud is just one of them. There are so many technologies where people talk about what is known as Industry 4.0. Or next generation manufacturing, next generation production. So one of these, the engine of the future, one of these very important technologies is the cloud. Along with the cloud, we also have robotics, we have artificial intelligence, we have machine learning, we have 5G. All of these together combine or in a force multiplier fashion to give you what is known as the Industry 4.0. Now, before I get into why the cloud, what is the age today that we are in? The slide is not moving. Yeah, this is okay. So we are in an age of data, or rather big data. We have come to an age of big data. We are actually already moved into the age where data has become the new oil. Data is the new oil. Now, what is the connotation of this? 100 or 150 years back, or people were rushing to places where oil was struck. You might have heard about California. California was like a desert plain until they struck oil and gold. And then today, California is one of the largest, it is the largest state in the US, and also it's one of the largest economies in the world. So the oil rush resulted in an acceleration of human settlement. People from all over the world came, emigrated, settled down, and the boom of oil resulted in development. Then subsequently, other things added to the trend, whether it is Silicon Valley, whether it is Hollywood, and so on. And oil was one of those things that propelled, massive investments and massive development. Today, I hail from the state of Kerala. I think close to almost 10% of the population of the state is living abroad, and a vast majority of them are in the Middle East, Gulf countries, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. Obviously, what was the reason? How did these Middle East countries become so prosperous that it attracted expatriates from across the world? It's because of oil. So oil was one of the major indicators of development. Now it has become data. Data has become the new oil. The person who, the companies, the enterprises, the firms that have got access to the data as also are able to use the data in an efficient fashion are the ones who are now succeeding. I want to cite some examples. Of course, it's probably some of it is a repetition. Today, the largest retailer in the world is a Chinese company called Alibaba, Alibaba.com. You might have heard about Alibaba.com. Every year, Alibaba has, sales and turnover of 140 billion US dollars. Imagine their economy is bigger than probably most of Africa. $140 billion they have turnover every year. Alibaba is such a massive retailer. On the Chinese festival of Singles Day, 11 days, Singles Day is the opposite of Valentine's Day in China. They sell goods worth billions of dollars. But what is so interesting about Alibaba is, you go to any mall anywhere in the country, you go to Forum Mall in Bangalore, you go to any mall in Noida, you come to any mall in South, you will never see an Alibaba shop. See, Alibaba is the largest retailer in the world, but you go to any mall anywhere in the world, you will not see an Alibaba shop. Alibaba is the largest retailer in the world with annual sales of $140 billion revenue or turnover, but there is no Alibaba shop anywhere. There is no shop. So the whole Alibaba exists in cyberspace. They may have some offices, they may have some warehouses where they store a lot of stuff, but there is no shop called Alibaba. That's the power of data, the power of technology per se. Now, I want to take another company, Uber. Uber is the largest. There are 5+ million cars connected. Uber. You call an Uber, whichever place you are, you call an Uber, it comes to your place. But Uber has perhaps 5 million cars. Every day, almost 20+ million rides happen on a Uber. 20+ million rides happen every day on a Uber. But the interesting thing is, none of these 5 million cars are owned by Uber. Uber does not own any of these cars. These cars are owned by somebody, some taxi wala, some businessman who has 10 cars, taxis, who has made them to Uber. Uber does not own any of those cars. So the largest retail enterprise in the world does not have any shops. Largest car company in the world, Uber, does not own any cars. That is the beauty of technology. That is the power of data today. Take Facebook, 3 billion users today, almost 2.96 to 3 billion. 1 out of 2 people on the planet have a Facebook account. Largest content creator in the world is Facebook. Largest media company in the world is Facebook. But who is creating that content? Facebook does not create any content. Facebook provides the harbor, provides the platform. The content is created by you and me, all of us. So that's the largest media company in the world, but strangely, they do not create any content. That's the power of data and technology. And it is in that perspective that we need to understand that cloud is a very important enabler. Cloud, virtualization, storage, these things are major drivers of this technology revolution, major drivers of the digital transformation that is happening today. Along with other things like 5G or robotics or machine learning, artificial intelligence, mobile apps, social media, analytics, and so on. So it's one of the major enablers of this digital transformation, having things on the cloud. It makes perfect sense for people to host things on your cloud. To cut the long story short, why? You're saving money. When you are hosting things on the cloud, You are saving money in terms of hardware. You are saving more money in terms of software. You are saving money in terms of platform. You are saving money in terms of infrastructure, buying big servers, big computers, storage devices, buying commercial software, buying hardware. You don't have to buy these things. Your TCO, or the total cost of ownership, comes to a very reduced manner. Now, and let us see how it is happening. So cloud is a game changer. Cloud is a game changer in the sense that cloud makes you reduce your TCO, or your total cost of ownership. Your total cost of ownership is much reduced, so as to speak, because you don't have to invest so much money on buying servers, buying storage, buying hardware, buying software. And let us see how. So I'm going to give you an overview of the cloud, as also talk to you about some of the tools that are enabling cloud. And as I mentioned, cloud is a type of utility computing. It is utility computing. Cloud means you are the delivery of computing services over the internet, which includes the storage, the infrastructure, the processing, the software, the hardware, the platform. All of these are available as per your need. They are available as per your utility. They are available as per your requirement. Cable, cable is an example of utility. You want this many channels. Okay, you want Star Movies, you want Z. You can subscribe as per your need. You can select the channels that you need, right? I have 2 connections at home. I watch only Hollywood and stuff like that. I have a second connection at home. My mom only watches Malayalam channels. She doesn't need any of these English channels. It's as per the need, So that cloud has brought what is known as the concept of utility computing. You don't need to buy everything. You don't need to invest money on hardware, software, storage, servers, platforms, and so on. You can subscribe. You can pay as per your need. You can subscribe to them, and that is a big game changer for companies, a big game changer for enterprises, because it reduces their total cost of ownership. It improves their top line in terms of the cost is reduced, and automatically it improves their bottom line in terms of profit. So let us see the various aspects of the cloud. So today, IT spending is increasing day by day. In 2024, it is estimated to be something like 1,600 billion US dollars. And of course, the pandemic has only accelerated. The years of the pandemic, 2021, you have only seen this number increasing more and more. Likewise with the cloud. I'll come to public cloud, but for that matter, understand the cloud is also growing. The market forecast every year we are seeing an average of 20% growth. And in 2023, the projection is that cloud, in terms of the spending for cloud services by enterprises across the world in 2023 end, is expected to be close to 591 billion US dollars. That's the amount of, the kind of impact that cloud has today. All across the world, the spending is only increasing, only accelerating, improving day by day. Now, is this a new concept? Well, yes and no. Cloud is definitely something that became very popular. Cloud means cloud computing and its associated things like virtualization, data centers. They became kind of very popular post 2011, 2012. Maybe the last decade or so, we have seen cloud services becoming very, very popular, cloud providers accelerating, data centers springing everywhere. India is now one of the biggest hubs for data centers. Everybody wants to set up data centers here. So last decade, we have seen an acceleration in terms of the in terms of cloud services and data centers. But actually speaking, many elements of cloud were there even in the past. Even 60, 70 years back, there were data centers. To some extent, they were storage, and we were able to optimize the storage. We had data centers or servers which were storing things. We had ways to optimize the storage also. Then we moved on to mainframes, time sharing, data processing. Here also there were computers which were meant for storage, and you could do some kind of optimization of resources at that point of time. Many of these concepts have now come into the cloud. So in a way, it is recent in the sense that the last 10 years, we see commercial cloud applications, commercial cloud providers, commercial data centers, but concepts of cloud have been there even earlier. Now, the PC from IBM came around 1980s and 90s. The PC became something that everybody wanted. And even when the PC was becoming very cheap, like a commodity, today the personal computer, a laptop or a desktop has become like a commodity. Even though it's a very complex machine with so much of processing power, it's not so expensive. I mean, you can buy a decent computer for 20 to 30,000 rupees. You can buy a decent laptop for 50K, and the power, the computing power is so great. So they have become something like commodities. Even in that phase, we saw some movement towards clouds, where we saw PCs becoming thin PCs. Thin means it's not in terms of the size, but the PC became very, very, thin in the sense that it needed only minimal resources. We talked about a peer-to-peer system and a client and server. A client will not need much of processing, much of hardware, much of software, the client will go to the server. The server will provide those resources and so on. Then we saw another movement towards clusters. Clusters means networks of systems which work together in concert, in a harmonious fashion to get things done. So what I'm trying to tell you is that all of these developments, all of these advances, all of these have kind of resulted in cloud computing becoming very, very popular, very, very extensively being used, deployed across the world in the last decade. But actually speaking, many of these things were there. Some elements were there. It's like all the elements are now combined together, and there is a force multiplier effect. So that is the cloudy history of time in terms of the actual, the origins of this technology, so as to speak. Now, as I mentioned, cloud is utility computing. On demand, what you want, you take. Whether it is hardware, whether it is a software, whether it is a platform, whether it is an infrastructure. As per your need, it's a self-service. You can take the resources. You don't have to call anybody, ask anybody. You can automatically go choose the services that you need, the resources that you need. You don't need human intervention. You can pay it online. All the accounting, billing is happening online. You have a broad range of services that are available either in terms of hardware, platform, and all of these are accessible through the internet. Using the internet, which is a public network for your private needs, you can use, you have these things available. You can pool resources, you can optimize your resources, you can have multiple users working together. It's not that you have a computer, the same computer, two people can use at the same time, the resources can be optimized. So the concept of one man or one woman per computer is different. Each computer can be partitioned virtually. Physically, it's only one computer, but virtually you can partition it in, so multiple users can use. So there is a resource pooling available. And there is an elasticity. Elasticity means the resources can be shared, can be copied, can be shared, scaled up, scaled down as per the need. Now you find, traffic, sometimes traffic is crazy, especially in Delhi and all, you're going to the airport and all, sometimes the traffic is crazy. We need intelligent algorithms to divert the traffic to such a way that everybody is able to reach home at time. Similarly, the cloud is able to reconfigure in the sense that the resources can be reconfigured in such a way that everybody gets gets hold of things, gets more resources, and it becomes easy for people. That is, all these things happen in the cloud. So it is a utility computing, it is a self-service computing, it is an on-demand computing, it is a high-speed computing, it is a resource pooling, it is an elastic computing, elasticity is there, even the sharing of resources is there, it is an optimized computing. All these things come in, and that is why I mentioned, if you see these features, today's digital transformation, this is one of the major building blocks. When you're talking of smart education, or you're talking of smart manufacturing, where do you store it? A cloud. Where is you go on uploading your Facebook photographs, you upload your videos on YouTube. Where is it stored? It's on the cloud. So it's become a it's become a part of our common routine, so as to speak. Now, let me talk to you about the different types of clouds. I'm sure deployment models. I'm sure some of you might have heard about all this. You might have heard these concepts, but you will see that there's an overlap in the service models and the deployment models. The service models are infrastructure as a service. The name is self-explanatory. Platform as a service, PaaS. First is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Then PaaS, PaaS is platform as a service. And the more popular one, SaaS, or software as a service. And these are the service models, but they are available in multiple deployment modes. They can be in a private cloud, a public cloud, a hybrid cloud, or a community cloud. We'll see each of these in detail. So in terms of the service model, a public cloud, this is most popular everywhere. You know, when you talk about Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, all these things are public clouds. Huge, massive clouds which are available for the public. Services are hosted. You can pay. It's very, and even though it is massive, huge, with so much of storage, with all kind of facilities, platforms are available, applications are available, softwares are available, messaging services are there, storage is available, and you just pay as per your need. That is the idea. It's a very cost-effective option for businesses and individuals. You're going on increasing computers in your college or in your school or your company. You know, it makes sense. You don't have to buy big servers, big storage systems, big top hardware. Everything is available. You just subscribe to the cloud and you get what you need. Now, there is again a big misconception that it is not secure. Well, people say, oh, it's on the cloud, it's not secure. That's the general misconception that people have. Well, I can tell you one thing, even though things are hosted on the cloud, there are multiple layers of security for cloud. Even if it is on a public cloud like Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud, you have multiple layers of security, perimeter security and so on. But still, I mean, today, you know that there is a generation of people who are cyber hackers, who are cyber terrorists, who are cyber stalkers. I mean, they are able to look for vulnerabilities and break down. Now, I'll flip it in another way. You know, you say that your Gmail is very, Gmail has multiple security features, right? You have password, you have different two-factor authentication, you put so many ways are there for security, but still you find that your Gmail is getting hacked. Your Gmail is compromised. Same thing happens for the cloud. Cloud, there is enough security protocols, multiple layers of security are there. But having said that, there are people who are able to look for vulnerabilities, look for weaknesses and expose. That is a universal fact. But that is not only for the cloud, it is also for your Gmail. It is also for any software that you use. You're using a banking software like Finacle. There are people who can hack it, who can break into it. That we cannot do anything. So we have to be careful. Now a private cloud. Now very large organizations use this for their intranet and their extranet, for their company branches, company suppliers, and so on. So some companies, perhaps many of these things are sensitive. sensitive data, information that can be used by their competitors. So they need to tightly connect with all their branches, with all their suppliers and so on. So you can have a private cloud hosted. It can be hosted in your premises, it can be hosted somewhere, but only your company and your company's designated branches and designated people are able to use it. So generally, some companies are able to afford, they have sensitive data, they prefer to go for a private cloud, but mostly people prefer, smaller organizations and educational institutions, schools, and all, perhaps there is no need to go for a private cloud. But if you are into defense or you're doing very sensitive research, which can be compromised, which can be misused, those kind of applications, it is better to go for a private cloud, where all your organization as well as its branches can be secured, more secure this thing is there, and you can customize and more privacy can be. This is now very popular, the hybrid cloud. So for most part, you use the public cloud, but for certain things which are sensitive, you use a private cloud. This is the many and top and big enterprises are now going for this hybrid cloud model. For everything, all and sundry, you use the public cloud, but for certain things, where you feel the data is sensitive, where you need to restrict the access, have tight privacy controls, secure integrity controls, you can use a hybrid cloud where there is a mix of public and private. Whatever you want to be super secure, you can put it in the private cloud. So this is a good way, and there are protocols by which the private and the public cloud can be communicating with each other, can share resources and optimize the resources. An extension of this is a community cloud. A community cloud is a deployment model where a specific community or a group of organizations can be connected, and it's like a private cloud, but it's not a private cloud, it's a public cloud for a specific community, but within the community only the resources are optimized and shared and so on and so forth. It helps in some way. Now, to give you an example, suppose you are a network of say 100 schools across the country, maybe you can go for a community cloud if you have that amount of sensitive data, and maybe your competitors are looking to look for your vulnerabilities and weaknesses. These are options, but this is essentially community cloud is an extension of the hybrid cloud. Now coming to what I told you about the service model. So these were the deployment models, the private cloud, public cloud, community cloud, and hybrid cloud. Now coming to the service models, as I mentioned, utility computing, service. You are getting infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure means it can be the store. You are having what is known as virtual machines. Your computer can be divided into 2 or 3 virtual machines, and each virtual machine is capable of an independent existence. So the computer is divided into virtualized or made into virtual machines. Each machine will act as if it's an independent system. It has its own storage, it has its own protocol, it is able to talk to each other, share resources, communicate with each other, and so on. So this is a very efficient way of using your resources. Now I'll give you my example. I do not teach any programming courses, even though I'm in the computer science department. Last 10 years or something, I'm primarily coordinating the accreditation, the ranking activities of the university. Very rarely I take any programming courses. I don't need any programming on my computer. My primary usage is PowerPoint and Word. That's all I need. I don't need any of the other things. PowerPoint, Word, and is what I need, right? So there is no need for me to have programming resources in my computer, but my colleague sitting next door is probably not into administration. He or she is doing. So as per his need, he need not have very high-end version of Office 365. He can just work on the programming. So the virtual machine, the same computer can be divided into 2 virtual machines, and each virtual machine can be customized for the user. And today, all the major providers of cloud services like Amazon, AWS has infrastructure service as EC2. Microsoft Azure has got virtual machines. Google has got a compute engine. Similarly, platform is storage. You're storing information, servers. You don't want to buy servers in your establishment. You can just subscribe to server space on the data center, and accordingly the storage, the networking, and it can be done, and you don't have to spend. Servers are all very expensive, 5 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs. You don't have to do that. A few to 20,000-30,000 rupees, you subscribe to the platform, subscribe to the storage, and as and required, you can store your resources and so on. And examples of platform as a service are Google App Engine, AWS, Elastic Beanstalk, and Heroku. And now the most popular thing, software as a service. Software costs are kind of escalating. Hardware cost is coming down. I mean, if you see the price of a computer or a laptop or a mobile phone or a tablet is all coming down, but software cost is not coming down so much. Software cost means software is going on expanding with new features, new versions, and so on, and the cost is generally remaining stationary or slightly going up. That is a fact. But hardware costs are coming down. So software has become the premium. Now you buy something, the software costs more than the hardware. That's the situation today. And sometimes it's very expensive. Software can be very expensive because there is a lot of work done to it. It makes sense if you have a SaaS version or a software as a service version. You need not spend so much money. You can just subscribe, whether it is, the examples are, Google Workspace, Microsoft Office 365. Buying a Microsoft license itself is costly. Then having the Office 365 is more costly. But instead of that, you can take the cloud version, the SaaS version. As per your need, you take what you want, the Office 365 and so on. So this is now very popular, and now many unicorns in India. India is now the startup nation. Many of the unicorns, I think good majority or the lion's share of unicorns are doing SaaS. Zoho, Freshworks, all of these are doing a lot of SaaS models. Now all commercial packages, people are offering SaaS versions. So I'll give you an example. You go to a hospital, hospital information systems, right? Hospital is run on technology. You want an X-ray, you want a discharge summary, you want a blood report, you want a urine report, you want all these are all available in computer and software. Now, buying a hospital information system will be extremely expensive, but depending upon the needs of your hospital, you can go for a SaaS model of the hospital information systems. It will be much more cost effective for you, because see, everybody will not need you can imagine if 100 patients are coming, all 100 may not need an X-ray. You understand the logic that I'm trying to tell you. 100 of them will not need an X-ray. Maybe 70 of them need a blood test. Maybe 40 of them need a urine test. So depending upon your requirement, the hospital information system can be available on a SaaS platform, and as per your need, you can use it. So as I mentioned this, I've already talked to you, the total cost of ownership, the TCO is reduced. Pay for what you use, pay per view. And you're not investing much on infrastructure. You're not buying servers. You're not buying storage space. You're not buying software. You're only buying the basic hardware to run the software. That's it. So infrastructure costs are reduced. You can scale up as per your need. Suppose from 100-bed hospital to you're increasing to 200-bed hospital. You don't have to buy additional 10 servers. You just have to increase the cloud space. It makes perfect sense. You have flexibility, you have reliability, and I told you there is enough amount of security is there, enough security, lot of security protocols are there, and you can have collaboration. Your TCO, or the total cost of ownership, is reduced. And when the TCO reduces, your top line, your revenue, your sales, you get more sales and the thing, and your bottom line, your profit also gets increased. So that's the benefit of the cloud. The cloud is a very good technology in the sense, and in terms of the cloud providers, now there are commercial cloud providers. Amazon and Microsoft are the leaders in the field. Amazon has got different types models for everybody, and I think popularly Azure and Amazon are now leading the market, with Google a close distant third. Google Cloud is a distant third. But a lot of the Google, the YouTube, all these things, a lot of the Google applications are on the cloud. Whether it is Google Apps or Google YouTube, all these things are on the cloud. That is one very good thing about this thing. So this is the market, this thing. So yeah, I've already talked about this. Yeah, now some of the use cases of cloud are this. Cloud is used for data storage and backup, for development of software, for web, mobile apps like Google Apps, YouTube. All these things are run on the cloud. Google now. Cloud is also very critical in terms of doing what is known as BDA, or big data analytics, and disaster recovery. Now, I have already told you, we are living in an age of data. Data is the new oil. There's so much of data being generated, and all this data is stored in the cloud. I told you the example of 3 billion monthly users of Facebook. 1 out of 2 people on the planet is having a Facebook account. Imagine how much of things are being shared on the Facebook network. Putting photographs, relationship status, videos, travel status. I was going abroad. You're putting, traveling to JFK airport. These kind of things. So imagine the amount of updates that are happening every day. I'm not saying all 3 billion users are using it every day, but what I'm trying to say is, you can imagine the magnitude, the quantum of data that is being generated every single day on Facebook. Now, you take a car. How do you know that your car has perhaps 50 to 100 sensors? Your car, the car that you travel in, is got 50 to 100 sensors. Sensors for checking the petrol, the gas, the diesel, sensors for various aspects of the car. Imagine the amount of data that is generated by the 50 sensors in every car. And you do the math. If there are 10 million cars in the country, you can imagine how much of data is being generated. So the cloud is very important so that we are able to do analytics on the data, use the data, get the sense from the nonsense. It is nonsense or too much sense, but you need to get the sense from that nonsense, and the analytics has to be done. Cloud is very good in terms of disaster recovery. Whatever you lose, everything is secure. Even if your computer fails, it's stored somewhere. You can retrieve everything. You don't lose anything in terms of sensitive corporate data or any other data for that matter. It provides good disaster recovery. That the backup is always there, and the chances of failure are much low. And of course, I told you, security is there. There is security. There are many layers of security, but there are people who can intervene and who can compromise even that. That is something that is there. Yeah, this is the picture of some of the data centers that are there. Now, somebody was telling, when these data centers are there, there is a lot of air conditioning required. There is a lot of cooling required. Some people have made some good technologies to use the air and recirculate the air, use natural light, try to do all these. These are, then somebody was even telling, why can't we have, there is a big continent of Antarctica. Antarctica is super cool. Why can't you have a server farm, a data center in Antarctica? So you don't have to bother about the cooling at all. You don't have to spend money even on air conditioning and cooling systems and so on and so forth. These are some of the things that people are now talking about and so on. I'll close with 2 tools, especially from an academic perspective. These are 2 tools that are very important in terms of the cloud. Something known as the Hadoop distributed file system and the MapReduce. So in the cloud, one very important thing is the storage. The storage, and the second thing is the processing. The processing is done through the MapReduce, and the storage is done by what is known as a Hadoop digital distributed file system. The Hadoop digital file system essentially is a large distributed file system which ensures that everything is stored in what is known as a block. And these blocks are, Hadoop is one of the building blocks of the cloud. It takes care of the storage. We have a distributed system, 10,000 nodes, 100 million files, doesn't matter. It's stored in types of, in blocks, in such as these blocks are replicated. Even if one node is crashing, it doesn't matter, the network is able to reconfigure. So this is one of the important building blocks of cloud, the Hadoop. For the want of time, I'm not going much into the detail. And maybe at a later STEM, I'll talk about HDPS. MapReduce is a programming model for how to distribute, how to process. What is actually happening is you have so much of data, you have nodes. How do you take the data? How do you disaggregate the data? How you aggregate the data? How you shuffle the data? And how you combine the data? It's a processing model for the cloud. So these two things, I'm not going to the details, but I'll just tell you that the Hadoop is a building block concerned with the storage of the cloud, the distributed file system, and MapReduce is the processing of this distributed databases and so on. So with this, I will come to the end. I'll be happy to take questions. This is what I was telling. Cloud is a utility computing. As per your need, you can pay and use. You can save a lot of money in the sense that the total cost of ownership is reduced. Your bottom line, your profit increases. You don't have to invest in servers, software, platforms, hardware to some extent, and so on. You just need the basic hardware for running the software. That is all. It is on demand. You can have flexibility, elasticity. You can pay as per your requirement. Then I told you about the various deployment models, the public, the private, and the hybrid clouds, and the service models, like infrastructure is available as a service. Platform is available, the storage is available as a service, and the software is available as a service. And finally, cloud is a game changer. Cloud is one of the enabling technologies for Industry 4.0 and the digital transformation, helping all enterprises, colleges, universities, schools, hospitals, consultancies to reduce their cost to a large extent by going for this utility mode. Thank you very much. Over to you, Shikha, for the question answer. Devyani ma'am? Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Nair. I think I was hearing it throughout, and the insights that I got about how to scale up and how the best of the organizations in the world have scaled up their businesses using cloud computing. And I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned, not just in terms of technology, leveraging technology, but also understanding that how best we could leverage it in terms of our own growth and contributing it to not just our personal growth, but growth of the nation and so on. Over to you, Shikha, for inviting the participants to, dear participants, this is a great opportunity to interact with as seasoned resource person, academician as Dr. P. Nair. If you could, you have any questions, please type in the chat box, or if you want to directly ask, we shall be happy to unmute you. You can take it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such an informative and detailed session. And now we'd request all the participants that if they have any question, please type in the chat box.
Dr. Nair, one thing I must say, every time I look at the demographic variety of the participants who attend STEM at NEP. I am so exhilarated that the passion to learn and new things and, never stop growing is so reflected in our participants. And I don't think so. I really don't think so. Anybody, I can see some people writing where they are from and the schools they've written. Any questions? Dr. Nair, any last tip that you would want to give? You've been talking, and I think, well, one last resting statement about, cloud computing.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me like a closing, it makes sense,
So I
Somebody
think
has written, cloud means it is already saved. Yes, somebody has written a closing kind of comment. Cloud means where it will be saved. Actually, that's what, you get savings. You are able to save a lot of money by deploying the cloud and able to kind of save money for the organization, improve your bottom line. I think that would be the moral of the story, so as to speak.
Great, thank you so much. Dr. Nair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for answering the question. Now, I would request all the participants to please fill the feedback form which has already been uploaded in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback form which has already been shared in the chat box. And once again, before we end the session, as Devyani ma'am has already announced that from September month, we are not coming only with the one session in STEM Masterclass, but a full program with 3 to 4 modules on one topic. So don't forget and stay tuned with us for more informative session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
Namaskar,
much.
sir.
Thank you, Devyani ma'am. Thank you.
So you're on mute.
Oh, sir. No, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Devyani ma'am. Thank you. I'm also looking forward to the September series.
Yes. We shall be very proud and honored to have you with us, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Shika, can you please send me the video, Shika?
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
You will receive when we'll be sending you an email.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Good night. Good afternoon to everybody. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.